Mark chapter 5. When they had crossed over the lake to the region of the Gerasenes, when Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an evil spirit came from the tomb to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one can bind him anymore, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand to foot. But he often torn the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. When night and day he would cry out in the tombs and among the hills, and he would cut himself with stones. When he heard Jesus was coming, he fell on his feet, and he shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Swear to God that you won't torture me." For Jesus had once said to him, "Come out of this man, you evil spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside, and the demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs, let us go into them." Jesus gave them permission, so then they went out and went into the pigs. The pigs, the herd, about 2,000 in numbers, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported it in the countryside. In the town, the people came to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind. They were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man and told about the pigs as well. And the people were afraid. They begged Jesus to leave their area. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. But Jesus said to him, "Go back home to your family and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he's had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him. And all the people were amazed. Jesus again crossed the lake by boat to the other side. And a large crowd followed him while he was by the boat. And there was a synagogue ruler named Jairus came there. Seeing Jesus, he fell at his feet and pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her, so she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him. There was a woman who was there who had been subjected to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she had heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his clothes, for she thought, "If I just touch him, I will be healed." Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she had been freed from her suffering. And once Jesus felt the power had gone out from him, he turned around the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see all the people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at her foot, trembling with fear. She told her the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go home and be freed from your suffering." While they were speaking, some men came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue ruler. "Your little daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore?" Ignoring what they said, Jesus told the synagogue ruler, "Don't be afraid, just believe." So he did not let anyone except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, to follow him. When they came to the house of the synagogue ruler, Jesus saw a commotion with people crying and wailing out loud. Jesus went in and said to them, "Why are you crying, and why all this commotion? The child isn't dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him and came to where the child was. He took the child by the hand and said to her, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began walking around. She was 12 years old. At this, everyone was astonished. Jesus gave them strict orders not to tell anyone about this, and he ordered them to give her something to eat. Mark chapter 5. Amen.
Amen.